Welcome to Paradise Valley and to the beautiful ranch that I paint very, very regularly. Today I'm going to do a creekside view, and the challenge here is that everything is stacked up. I'm looking straight on the creek. I'm not looking upstream or downstream with a nice curve. And so it's really going to be about like, what is the most interesting thing here? What do I want to really bring out? In this case, I think I'm basically using this as a sketchbook right now. I think I'm going to have the creek line, somewhere down low like this. And then maybe bring in some of these rocks in the foreground, or a little bit of that shore, just to add some interest. Something like that. Hard thing here is that they're all about the same size where I'm standing, so I'm gonna have to just really try to make some kind of interesting lead in. Sorry, it's a little breezy here, so this board is moving around a little bit. Okay, so then I have this cut bank here. Let's see if I can wedge that in and make that stay a little better. I don't know if that's gonna help. Yeah, maybe. So I've got this cut bank here, and I think I want to break that up, and there's these snaggy little willows along here that are kind of dry and not terribly sexy right now, but I think that they will give us the color notes that I want. Sort of lead you from here. This might be, that might be too on top of this piece, but let's get the rest of it drawn in. You see what I mean? Like, you have this bush here, and then you have these rocks here. It'd be better to offset that. So why don't I just go ahead and do that? Well, you know what? Let's leave this here. And let's do this. Get rid of this. And this is a piece down here that it might be that it's just too much. It might be that it's better just to have the simplicity of the water. But let's bring that little bit of shore over here. So we got these kind of tall grasses in here. And a little bit of creek right there. And again, I'm not 100% sure that I need this here. It might just be a few rocks. Let's get the rest of it sketched in and I'll decide. And I know this isn't the most elegant way to sketch, it's just thought it'd be nice to see something at a bigger scale here. Okay, so what I'm really interested in here is this cottonwood tree. And there's some cattle. Hopefully they'll stick around. We'll get some of those guys in there. Something like that. And then I want these trees a little off-center. So this is going to be about really playing up the personality of these trees. So really the decision here is going to be, is it more about these snaggy cottonwood trees, or about the mountain behind it? I'm going to do really fast with this, but just get an idea and then figure it out as I go. Words I'm never supposed to tell you. I'm supposed to have everything figured out the moment I put pastel to paper, right? Sometimes you figure things out a little bit on the fly. So now it's going to come through something like that. And then there's the other mountain. And then the question is, how high should that go? Now this would come all the way off to the peak. So here's a really tricky thing. Don't want to pretend that ridge is smaller and get that peak in right there. Or is it just going to be fine? It probably will be, just to have it as it is, because what is most interesting here is the tree. Or here's a third option. There is a mountain. Let me see if I can play up this idea. So you got the tree coming down here. I think you're going to have to take a course on sketching after this just to get over my terrible dry erase board sketches. Now this is not what I normally do as far as sketching. I like the idea of having something larger here to show you, and also just to be able to make lots of quick changes. Okay, so there is a peak. Back here. And that gives me an extra layer. I kind of like that idea. The only thing that I'm a little concerned about is do I want more blue sky behind those trees? I think it'll be okay to do something like this. So you can see, I'll pop up a reference photo here. You can see those mountains off to the right. Now here's the thing about grabbing and borrowing. Like there's a tree a little bit further to the right. Maybe I want to have that tree to balance off that one grouping because there's two here, maybe one here. To get it 2 and 1, odd numbers. That could be an option. Don't want to overthink this and overcrowd it. That kind of contains this a little bit more. I can take, as long as something is in the same light pattern. In other words, this is all front lit. The sun is behind me, and that the tree that is to the right of these peaks is within the same light pattern as the trees over here. So I'm not changing things too much. The other option here is to do something like that and have that big prominent peak, but just move it back a little bit. And that might be the simplest solution there. So that would make it go kind of down like that. And then you'd have lots of clear. Now I also have to decide, do I want to make these a little smaller, a little bigger? You know, they're coming right up to the top. So either have them come completely off the top, you know, clearly like, okay, these are coming off and you can finish it in your imagination, or have them all the way in. But having them just barely in, see what I mean? Like, I've seen people try to say they've got these big cottonwood trees and they feel like they need to fit it in their picture. And so they sort of squeeze them in, and it's like having a giant squeezing into a house where the ceilings are too small. You know, it looks very, very awkward. So, so something like that. I'm not exactly sure. If I have this tree here, it might be better to have it back a little bit. That's something called a steelyard composition, where you have a grouping that's close, and then a balancing tree that's back there, and then a grouping somewhere in here. And I don't know if I want that big peak or the group of the further back peaks. I might want that grouping. Just do something like this. And then bring this. So again, as long as you're in the same light pattern, same quadrant. In the sketch, those look a little bit like pom-poms, but I'm just trying to get a sense of where those branches are going to be. I think we're in the ballpark there. So I might drop this down even more. And I don't think I'm going to need that. I think just a little glimpse of that creek. You want to be careful, you know, like if you're grabbing and borrowing other things in the composition, see how the water coming here. You know, you can overthink it, overcomplicate it, and make it too much. Too much is too much. Don't throw in the whole kitchen sink. If it's about this idea, then a little bit of water in the foreground is going to be great. Just to give it that, you know, you got the blue, and then the blue back in here. So you got that conversation blues, and then you've got these earthy ochres and greens and rosy colors up in here. So, you know, they can play those colors off of each other. So there's my very, very rough sketch. So let's just see what happens if I make this, like make this tree further back. No, it seems to want to get bigger again. No, that's not bad, actually. These two, I think I'm going to bring them in a little closer to each other because they feel too split. There's a lot of stuff going on in this tree, but I'm going to simplify it a little bit. So let's bring that about there. So it's not that different, but they're, you know, it's more of a single grouping here than those two trees. Something like that. This is not, there's one thing that's not super ideal here, and that's that the way I have my easel set up, I'm getting sunlight on this, but I'm getting dappled shadows from the trees behind me. If it was less windy, I could put up an umbrella and shade the whole thing, or I could turn this easel into the shade. But for the sake of, I think, clarity and being able to see, I'm going to at least try it like this and see if we can make this work, and hopefully it'll be clear enough.